In the previous section, we created 3 microservices, one for the plans, one for the subscriptions, and one separate AMQP service that handles payments. In this section, we are going to add the 4th and final microservice for this course, an authentication service. Before we can even begin implementing the service, we need a new isolated database to store the users as well as a service to manage them. In this video, we will create a user model. Let's begin by, of course, creating a new folder for storing this service. So at the root of our project, I'm going to create a new folder called auth-service. This is, of course, a new microservice, so we need to initialize npm for that service as well. So I'm gonna change directory into that and initialize it. After a while, we will be able to install Node modules, but for now, let's initialize this microservice as a SQLized project. So we want configuration details and the models directory along with the migrations and seeds directory. But in order to do all that, we're going to need a database. So I'm going to boot up a new MySQL instance. Let's call it authDB. It's going to have a default root password, same as the rest of the microservices. Of course, don't do that in production. And we will expose an incremental port. So far, we've exposed 3307 and 3308, so we're going to go with 3309. We're using the 5.7 version. We get back a hash, so we can exit the terminal and connect using Workbench. Let's test the connection and call it authDB. It seems to be working, so we are now ready to create a new schema called users, since we will indeed be storing users as part of our authentication service with a default character set. Perfect. Let's rename this to config.js. So now I can copy from a previous service to have a head start. The only difference is the port and the name of the database. We don't care about production, but I will change this as well because most likely in production we're gonna keep the same database name. Now the port, it depends. We don't care about production for now, so let's go and fix the root of the SQLized project. We need to create a new instance using the config we just created. Remember, we have stuff like the host, the username, and the password to pass to SQLized so that SQLized can communicate. This file is called both when using migrations and from within our controllers. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and copy this from another file. Same structure, perfect. Now we can go on and install some essential middleware. We studied those middleware back in section 2, so it's Express, body parser, Chalk for logs, course. Well, .env, we may or may not end up using it, helmet, joy, and the rest of them. So while these are installing, here's what we need to do in order to move on with creating the authentication service. We will need a model. As soon as this is finished, I'm going to use the SQLized CLI to generate a new model and a new migration. And then we can apply the migration and see the table in action. So let's do this. I'm going to type SQLized model : generate. And then I will need to provide the name, which is user, and a list of attributes followed by their types. So first name is a string, then we have last name that's also a string. We're going to need an email string as well. All of these are required, and a password, which is a string. Actually, this is a hash, password hash. We're not going to store the password in clear text. The migrations are created. So you can see we have the ID, the primary key, and we also have a user model. Now we can go on and use some validation. So I'm going to import Joy. I installed it before with the rest of the middleware. So here you go, we've got Joy, and we can export something like a user validation schema. Now let's see what we can do with all these fields. We have first name. Now the first name is a required string, nothing more fancy than that for validation. Same with the last name. Now, but the email, Joy, does have some additional validation that can be performed. So we can do something like this. This doesn't check if the email exists in our database. Remember, when you have a users table, you want the email to be unique. We're not making that check. Remember, this is just a course project. We try to avoid doing the very trivial tasks. In a real production setting, you may want to provide a user-specific message when someone imports an email address that already exists. So let's migrate. Migrations have been successfully completed. We don't even need to check. We know that the table is there. Now that we have a user model, let's hash the password to keep it secure with bcrypt in the next video.